So did grinding gear games bully Last Epoch into moving their Season 2 launch date? So if you're unfamiliar, Last Epoch Season 2 has been delayed for about 2 weeks. The date now is April 17th. Initially, it was going to be April 2nd. If we have a look over here on February 27th, they announced Season 2 Tombs of the Arrays launching April 2nd. So what has happened here and why are people accusing GGG of bullying them? So, initially, this happened on February 27th, as we said, for an April 2nd launch. If we have a look at the release date announced for Path of Exile 2's update, this was done on March 11th and targeted for April 4th. So, as you can see, they had about 2 weeks after the announcement last epoch to sort of set their date and make their plans. And they decided to put the launch within 2 days of last epoch's update. Now, I want to read this quote from the last epoch devs, as this is really, really interesting stuff. So, we recently learned that our friends in the ARPG space have chosen a release date just a couple of days after ours, which would divide the player base and hinder the success of our Season 2 launch. Last Epoch is still a smaller studio in this space that looks towards each of its launches as a way to continue to sustain the studio financially and work on things we are most passionate about. It is with a heavy heart that we are forced to move our release date of Season 2, Tombs of the Arrays, to April 17th. As we adjust our launch date, we invite our community to help us spread the word so that everyone can join in the Season 2 experience, a massive update to Last Epoch that we are thrilled to share with you. So the new date is April 17th. So this is pretty interesting stuff. I mean, GGG had plenty of time to set a date and they chose to put it pretty much right next to Last Epoch. Now, Path of Exile 2 had a pretty big launch, was pretty successful, and Path of Exile 1 has been an ongoing game for many, many years now. So Path of Exile and GGG, they're a pretty big player in the ARPG space. I would say, aside from perhaps Diablo, the biggest in the ARPG space. So yeah, I can see why people would think that they've been bullied. And if we read this quote and just take it at face value, yeah, they felt like they had no choice but to move it. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't see the kind of business success that they're looking for to sustain the game and the company moving forward. So, I'd like to hear from you guys on this one. Is this a bullying move? Are GGG bullies? From my perspective, it does feel like a bit of a dick move. Like, they had all the time to choose a different date. They could have delayed it for another week or two to move it into mid April, but they decided to put it right on top of last Epoch's update. I don't know. I think it's a bit of a dick move, on my personal opinion. So the counter argument here is that back in mid-February, GGG announced that their 0.2.0 update would be roughly 1 month out, which would put it into mid-March. Now, obviously, it's mid-March now, and it ended up being delayed by a couple of weeks. Now, I can understand that perhaps last ebook maybe you could have been a little bit more self-aware, but even in that instance, I think GGG still had about 2 weeks to decide what they wanted to do between the announce of last epoch's update and when they announced their update. So I don't think it's a very good argument. I think it's a bit of a like Cope fanboy type argument on my personal opinion, but hey, it is what it is. Now, I really like both of these games and I kind of want to play them both. So to have the release dates be separated by a couple of weeks actually is great for players. So at the end of the day, I think we all win here. So I don't know, it's kind of a mute point, but at the end of the day, it's just felt unnecessary. I don't know, it felt like, really? You had to? Anyway, guys, it is what it is. Last Epoch's launch is now going to be April 17th for Season 2. Now, I've been playing through Last Epoch, my first ever playthrough in the last couple of days. And man, I really, really like this ARPG. I think it's fantastic. And man, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Season 2 brings. But at the end of the day, Path of Exile 2's update is going to be first. So that's going to be April 4th. So we'll see how that goes. I'm interested to see what kind of end game or loot improvements they make, as I think the loot game is not very enticing for solo players right now in Path of Exile 2. It's fine if you want to hop on the trade and just grind divines or whatever. If that's your play style, that's cool. If you're more into the solo looting experience, I actually think Last Epoch is doing it better right now, even prior to this update. But hey, that's just my opinion. So I'd like to hear from you guys down below. Do you think they really were bullying? Think it's just whatever, it doesn't matter? I'd like to hear from you guys, so let me know with a comment down below. If you enjoyed that one, guys, smash like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video. Hope you all have a fantastic, amazing day. Take it easy.